The restaurant lights were soft and golden, the kind that made everyone look warm and important. Except tonight, for one young woman, they only made her loneliness feel sharper. Emily sat at a small table for two, nervously twisting the edge of her napkin as she waited for her blind date. She had arrived early, too early, hoping to look calm and confident. But with every passing minute, her confidence slipped away. Then he walked in. Her date. Tall, fit, sharply dressed. He approached, glanced at her, and something in his face shifted. Disappointment. Irritation. A flicker of judgment so quick yet so painfully clear. Before she could even say hello, he blurted, "You don't look like your photos, and not quietly either." Heads turned. Emily froze. Her heart sank. What came next would change everything, because someone else was listening. Before we get into the story, if you enjoy heartfelt stories about kindness and real human moments, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel Echoes of Dad. Your support helps us spread more stories that warm the heart and remind us what really matters. Now, let's begin. Emily had always struggled with her weight. Not because she didn't try, she did. But life had been messy lately. 3 jobs, rent climbing every year, and a mother whose health was declining faster than doctors expected. Emily didn't have time for gym memberships or meal plans with pretty labels. She barely had time to sleep. Dating was already terrifying for her, but her friends insisted she deserved love. And deep in her heart, she agreed, even if she barely admitted it. Her blind date, Mark, sat down with a sigh so heavy it might as well have been another insult. "So," he said, waving a hand at her, "you should have mentioned you look different." Emily felt her cheeks burning. "My photos are recent," she whispered. "Yeah, well," he replied, leaning back, "they're flattering in ways you aren't." His words cut through her like cold glass. She wasn't someone who cried easily, but tonight, her eyes stung. At the table next to her sat a man named Daniel. Early 30s. Tired, kind eyes. A single dad with a little girl named Lily, who sat across from him coloring her kid's menu with fierce concentration. Daniel wasn't trying to overhear, but Mark's voice carried. Too loud. Too cruel. And Daniel's heart twisted as he watched the young woman shrink into herself. He had seen that look before, on himself, years ago, when his ex-wife left. On Lily, when kids teased her for having only one parent at home. On strangers in grocery stores who just needed someone to treat them like a person. Kindness didn't cost anything, Daniel believed. But cruelty always charged interest. Mark kept going, talking about how people should, at least try, to look good if they wanted a boyfriend. Emily's fingers tightened around her water glass so hard Daniel thought it might break. She didn't argue back. Didn't defend herself. She just tried to disappear. Finally, Mark stood up. "Look, this isn't gonna work. I need someone who takes care of themselves." He didn't even pretend it was about personality. He didn't even give her a chance. He didn't even say goodbye. He just walked out. Emily stared at the empty chair in front of her. Her chest rose and fell in tiny, shallow breaths. She didn't know whether to cry or laugh or run out of the restaurant. She felt humiliated. Exposed. Like everyone was staring, even if they weren't. But someone was watching. Daniel looked at his daughter, then back at Emily. He didn't want to intrude. He didn't want to make things worse. But Lily, with the innocent clarity only kids carry, pushed her chair back, picked up her menu drawing, and walked right over to Emily. Daniel's eyes widened. "Lily, sweetheart." But it was too late. The little girl gently set the drawing on Emily's table. A bright crayon rainbow. A smiling sun. And a little stick figure girl holding balloons. "My dad says rainbows come after the bad parts," Lily said softly. "Are you having a bad part?" Emily blinked. She wasn't expecting anyone, let alone a child, to speak to her. She swallowed hard and nodded. "Well," Lily said matter-of-factly, "here's a rainbow." Emily looked down at the drawing. Her lip trembled. "Thank you," she whispered. Daniel stood up and walked over slowly, offering an apologetic smile. "Sorry about that. She doesn't like seeing people sad." Emily shook her head. She's sweet. She is, he said. I'm Daniel. And this is Lily. Emily introduced herself, still feeling fragile, like a single wrong word would make her crack open. Daniel hesitated for a moment, then said, I don't mean to pry, but I heard some of what happened. Are you okay? Tears spilled down Emily's cheeks before she could stop them. She covered her face. I'm so embarrassed. Daniel gently slid a fresh napkin across the table. You have nothing to be embarrassed about. That guy. He walked out on a perfectly good person. Emily shook her head. He's not wrong. I know I'm not, she swallowed the words. She couldn't say them out loud. Not tonight. Daniel leaned a little closer, not in a romantic way, but in a human way. Can I tell you something honest? He asked. Emily nodded. There's a difference between someone who takes care of their appearance, he said, and someone who takes care of people. Someone who shows up with kindness, patience, compassion. Those things don't fade. Those are the things people raise kids with. Build a home with. Fight for. What he said, that wasn't about you. That was about him. Emily looked up. You really think so? I know so, Daniel said. Lily climbed onto the empty chair across from Emily and held up a purple crayon. Want a color with me? She asked. Emily laughed softly, the first genuine sound she'd made all night. I'd love to. Daniel sat down too. A waiter passed by, confused whether to ask if they were one table now, but Daniel simply waved him off with a smile. And so the three of them colored. They talked about nothing and everything, movies, favorite foods, silly jokes Lily made up on the spot. Emily's shoulders relaxed. Her heartbeat settled. The knot in her chest slowly loosened. At one point, Emily said quietly, "Thank you. You didn't have to do this." Daniel replied, "Maybe not. But I've had bad days too, days where one kind moment made all the difference. You deserve someone to show you that tonight." An hour passed without any of them noticing. When the check came, Emily insisted on paying for her own meal, but Daniel said, "Let me cover it. Consider it a trade for your incredible coloring skills." He nodded toward the drawing she had helped Lily with, a bright new rainbow, this one with 3 smiling stick figures beneath it. Emily hugged the drawing to her chest. She felt warmth growing in a place she thought had gone cold. As they stood to leave, Daniel said, "If you ever want company again, no pressure, we're usually here on Friday nights. But even if we never see you again, I hope tonight reminds you how much you're worth." Emily nodded, tears forming again, but the good kind this time. "It did," she said. "More than you know." Lily reached up and wrapped her arms around Emily's waist. "Bye, Rainbow Girl." Emily laughed and hugged her back. "Bye, Lily." As they walked away, Emily stood by the door for a moment, holding the drawing. The restaurant lights didn't feel harsh anymore. They felt warm. Kind. Like she wasn't alone. Because kindness, real kindness, isn't about fixing someone's problems. It's about reminding them they matter. And that reminder can change an entire night. Sometimes even a life. So the next time you see someone hurting, someone shrinking into themselves, someone who just needs a gentle word, be the person who steps in with kindness. You never know whose heart you might steady. You never know what strength you might bring back to someone who forgot they had any. The world becomes softer every time we choose compassion. And just like Emily learned that night, sometimes all it takes is one unexpected moment of kindness to turn a painful night into a beautiful memory. Spread kindness. Share hope. And let the ripples carry farther than you'll ever know.